Oh my gosh, this is harder and harder to get out of bed. I don't think I'm getting enough sleep, but as it's like a little bit cold outside, I mean, that doesn't make it any easier. Arizona cold, but today is December 9th. What famous birthdays do we have? Famous B days, December 9th, 12/9. Okay. Now I notice a little list that they give us right here, but I don't recognize any of those characters. I do want to click on famous birthdays and let's just see what we notice here and maybe like cherry pick one of these. PNB Rock. I've covered him before, the death of PNB Rock. I kind of want to look for another one. Hopefully, there's another person on here we're semi familiar with. At least we get all of these TikTok stars, YouTube stars, as you know, they're kind of like the new celebrity, right? So look, you get all of these youngsters on here that are gonna be like future celebrities, I guess. Felicity Huffman, I've kind of heard of her. Kelly Oubre Jr. I did a Kelly Oubre Jr. breakdown before. Donny Osmond, interesting. Uh, Michael Dorn, not too familiar. Bo Bridges, YouTube star, chess player. Margaret Hamilton, that might be interesting. I've heard of the name. Oh look, Kurt Angle. I think we're gonna do Kurt Angle possibly. The wrestler, Kurt Angle. Let's click on Kurt Angle here, okay? And you know, I just want to see some interesting connections with this character. Okay, this is gonna be like just completely on the fly, as it's Kurt Angle's birthday. I'm gonna pull up his Google page. He had a successful wrestling career. Became famous with the WWE, right? And he was a really good character. So he turns 57 today, and he was like an amateur wrestler as well. Has won over 21 professional wrestling championships. His name is Kurt Steven Angle. And you know what? It's interesting because Daniel Jones, Colts quarterback, is trending, and he's got the middle name Stevens. You see right here, Daniel Stephen Jones, right there, trending at the same time. Now Kurt Angle's birthday hits, and he's got the Steven name. Right? So you see that right there? It's just spelled differently, but it's the same name. Interesting last name too, Angle. Okay, so let's see. He's got the 129 birthday, right? This is a wrestler, American retired professional wrestler and amateur wrestler. Currently, he is a sports analyst for Real American Freestyle. So what I'm going to do is just enter that. And I know we get a lot of 16s when we do decodes on wrestlers. We get, man, look how close Real American Freestyle he's an analyst for. Look how close that almost hit with his birthday. Two numbers shy. You get 127 right there. But we get a lot of 16s with with these wrestling decodes. You see wrestling equals 116. Look at, there's that 127 right there. That didn't take long. Look at that match right there. So, boom, that's perfect right there. You see that right there? And so I'm guessing he's a Sagittarius as well, but look at that right there. Currently, he is a sports analyst for Real American Freestyle. And you see the 127 right there, like wrestling. And he's a wrestler. Isn't that's awesome, right? Let me look up Real American Freestyle. I'm guessing it's amateur wrestling, I guess. See him right here. A new legitimate professional wrestling league launched in 2025. So if it's professional wrestling, that's just like, WWF stuff, right? Blending high level amateur freestyle wrestling with sports entertainment. That's cool, I guess. Featuring Olympic medalists, NCAA champions in intense, unscripted matches, supposedly, right? That's interesting. That's it. I guess that's kind of interesting. You see right there. Look, they got, why is Hulk Hogan right there? Hulk Hogan presents Real American Freestyle. Guess that was before his death. But so that's interesting. So let's look at, I also need to enter like Kurt Angle, his name and stuff. And we'll look at some dates as well. Kurt has the 16 in it. Look at this right here. We were talking about the 16. Look, Kurt equals 16. It was on January 6, 1/6 that Raw debuted on Netflix. And, that was Hulk Hogan who was trending, who helped introduce it. And there was a bunch of 16s in that decode. Look, Hulk equals 16 as well. Hulk equals 16 like Kurt. Right? So wrestling has 116. Kurt has 16. Hulk has 16. And that's interesting, right? So, and that was, I already mentioned that. So there's more 6, and I think there's more 16 somewhere within the language as well. But we may discover that as we go along here. Yes, Hulk also has that 16, right? And I'm sure if I ask Google, you have the American thing going on here with Hulk Hogan and Kurt Angle as well, right? I am a real American. Fight for the life of every man. I mean, however it went. And look, this is Real American Freestyle, which possibly was connected to Hulk Hogan already. But, Kurt Angle represented that flag. You see right there? Okay, so that's interesting. Hulk has 4 letters, equals 16 like Kurt. Wrestling equals 116. And then wrestling has 127 like Angle's current position, an analyst for Real American Freestyle. So interesting stuff. And then again, he's got the same middle name as Daniel Jones, who is trending. Indianapolis Colts quarterback with his, what was it, like an Achilles tendon, right Achilles tendon, something to that effect, right? So, and again, Kurt Angle's a Sagittarius. So what I'm going to do is also enter that here in the language. Okay, so I got that over there. I don't notice any matches with that right away. Sagittarius has 153. Wrestling and Kurt Angle equals 53. If that means anything. When did Kurt Angle win his first championship? When did Kurt Angle win his first professional wrestling championship? Let's see. October 22nd, 2000. First major professional wrestling championship. It was the WWF championship, now WWE, okay? October 22nd, 2000, at the No Mercy pay-per-view, he defeated The Rock. That's interesting because it's PNB Rock's birthday as well, right? So I remembered that from when we were doing our little search earlier. So that's awesome. Look, PNB Rock also has the Kurt Angle birthday, and then Kurt Angle defeats The Rock for his first championship. Isn't that awesome? That's completely awesome right there, okay? That's absolutely awesome. And it's undeniable. You can't deny that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just, and that was at the No Mercy pay-per-view, October 22nd in 2000, Albany, New York. This marked his first world title win, coming just a year after his WWE debut, and capped off a dominant rookie year where he also won the European and Intercontinental titles. Good stuff. How many days before his birthday? Look, you want to see me witness? You want to witness this right here? Look, let's put this in. It may not land, okay? It may not land, but let's... Man, that was in 2000. Man, time flies, doesn't it? October 22nd, 2000. And he's got the 12/9 birthday. 48 days before his birthday. A 49-day span. Let's scroll down. And you see the day of the year, days remaining. Now, did we see any of these numbers in what we already entered? 48, 49. Let me take a look. I don't think so. Oh, Kurt equals 70. Kurt equals 70. And he wins his championship on the day leaving 70 days in the year. His first championship. How about that? That's solid right there. Tell me that's solid. October 22nd, 2000. His first championship, WWF, now WWE, and Kurt equals 70. And it was against The Rock. That's a big victory in pro wrestling. And Kurt Angle has the same birthday as rapper PNB Rock, who's no longer with us. What day did PNB Rock die? I'm curious. Oh, look! And he died the 12th day of the 9th month. 129. PNB Rock, Kurt Angle, the 12/9 birthday, December 9, and then PNB Rock dies the 12th day of the 9th month, 12/9. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure I pointed that out. When I did my PNB Rock breakdown. Man, he died in 2022. Time does fly. Geez, isn't that absolutely amazing? It's your birthday, Kurt Angle. Wow. Love doing it. I think this is an image right here from that event. Was Kurt Angle crying? It looks like it's going to be kind of like a blurry image. Isn't that amazing, man? God, that's awesome. You know, Kurt equals 70, wins the championship on the day leaving 70 days in the year, which was the 296th day of the year. Man, so that's amazing. And I want to enter his full name as well. And remember, he's 57 today. Kurt Angle turns 57 years old. Let's enter that full name. 194. Okay. So, good stuff. Good stuff for the Sagittarius Kurt Angle. And this is peak. This is peak Kurt Angle right here. This is that match right here. I don't know. They're doing like a story on it, I guess. So where's the match at? Oh, they're just doing the story. So here it says the story. So I don't know if they're doing like the whole storyline that led into the match or whatever. You see the right to censor right there. I remember that. That's about the time when I kind of like stopped. Uh, you know, when I was younger, wrestling was entertaining, but you kind of like grow out of it, and then the characters kind of get overwhelming as well. And I don't know that I don't see any Angle versus The Rock here. It says the story of The Rock versus Kurt Angle, No Mercy. Maybe what led into the match. Oh, maybe that's some of the match right there. I don't know what these other guys are doing in there, or if this is even the match, but I don't know if they're going to show Angle win the championship here. Just a lot of chaos in the ring, it looks like. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in there, Angle picks up the victory. You see Chris Benoit on The Rock right there. Not sure. But interesting. So, you know, again, the same middle name as Daniel Jones, who is trending. The same birthday as PNB Rock, and his first heavyweight championship in the WWE comes against The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. You know, and you got that 12/9 birthday with Angle and PNB Rock. And then PNB Rock dies the 12th day of the 9th month, the same numbers. And that championship on the day leaving 70 days when Kurt equals 70. Wrestling's got 127 to match up with what he's doing now with Real American Wrestling, Real American Freestyle, I should say. You see right here, Wrestling's got that 116 again, like Kurt. Hulk's got the 16 right there as well. So I'm thinking there may be something else that we need to look at here. So this is amazing because I look up Sagittarius here, which is Kurt Angle, and adventurous, optimistic, honest, and freedom-loving explorers. That's amazing because that does sync up with Kurt Angle's character. Even just with the freedom thing, because he's got, he's got the American flag thing going on. Isn't that amazing? And a lot of those things I mentioned there sync up with his character, optimistic and all of that. So that's cool, man. Known for being adventurous, optimistic, honest, and freedom-loving explorers. symbolized by the archer. Archer's got the A-like angle, driven by a deep curiosity and thirst for knowledge, philosophy, and new experiences, often with boundless energy. Man, that's amazing because that connects with Kurt Angle, all of that stuff. A great sense of humor, though they can be impatient, blunt, and sometimes careless in their pursuit of truth and excitement. And then, that could go into a deeper level, than just pro wrestling in the fake world, right? That just goes down, completely to your makeup as a person, huh? So they say symbolized by the archer, right? Archer, Sagittarius archer, aiming a bow representing exploration, wisdom, and reaching for higher goals. Right here. And when I enter archer in the language over here, I'm seeing archer has 53 like wrestling, 37 like Kurt Angle, 109 like Kurt Angle. And I said Archer's got 53 like wrestling and Kurt Angle. Archer also has 35, which is reversed. Man. And I'm just kind of setting that up where we can look at that a little bit easier. Man, that's solid stuff right there. Okay, look at this. Look at how amazing that is. So Archer A, like angle, just take a look at that right there. Symbolized by a centaur, half horse, half man, aiming a bow representing exploration. Sagittarius the archer. Isn't that, look at that right there. It doesn't get any better than that. Archer 53, Kurt Angle 53, Wrestling 53, Sagittarius 153, and Archer has 35. 109 like Kurt Angle, 37 like Kurt Angle. Nice. That's wonderful right there, man. That's exactly what we want to see. Kurt Angle, the Archer, the Sagittarius, December 9, 2025. You are now 57 years old. It's your birthday. And I hope y'all enjoyed that. And those side connections were nice with The Rock and PNB Rock. I could have went a little bit longer, but I did what I wanted to do here today. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.